Okay, welcome to today's lesson. So here in this section of the lesson, I'm going to teach you how to create a calculator application using Python programming. So I need you to stay focused and pay attention to it step by step. So quickly, I will just go down here to my Visual Studio Code and click on it. So this is my Visual Studio Code. So the first thing I'm going to bring to your notice is that you need to know that I am assuming that you have Visual Studio Code already installed in your computer, and also I'm also assuming that you also have a Python programming, any version of the program, but I would advise you to use the latest Python version. Then also, while you are installing it, you need to set the paths to be automatically inserted in your computer environment. So quickly, I'm going to comment here. So I will just say hash, then I will say Python calculator. Yes, so that's the project we are working on. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to import a name. So the name will represent the first variable I will be creating. So I will just say import. So then I'm importing tkinder, and this tkinder as tk. So that's the variable I'm going to use. So this tkinder from, I'm importing it from math. Then I will import star. So that's for this. So for each of the section I will be creating, I'm going to be commenting so that you will know what each of the section is for. So here I will just say here hash create the main screen. So this code we are going to be writing here is for the main screen. So here in the main screen I will say that the root is equals to tk, which means the variable we created, then dot tk. So after that, I'm going to close it with this. Then I'm going to go down and set that the root title, root.title is professional calculator. So I will say professional calculator. So that's what I'm going to use. So now I'll come down. The next code I'm going to write is to create an entry field to display the calculation. So here I will comment here and say create a entry field for displaying calculations. Yes, so I will hit enter. So now let's just quickly go ahead and do that. So there I'm going to create a variable and set the variable name is calculation. Then calculation is equals to the mother variable we created before, which is tk dot string. So I'm letting you know that this variable is a string variable. So string var. Then I will close it with this. So next I'm going to say that entry underscore field. So entry field is equals to tk dot entry in capital letter E, then the rest is small letter entry, which is equals to the root. So comma. Then after that I'm going to say that text variable is equals to calculation, which is the variable I created, comma. Then I have to set a width to this variable. So I will say the width of this variable is equals to, let me bring it closer, is equals to 20. Then I'm gonna come out and say entry field, entry underscore field. This is entry field I created already, dot the grid. Then I will use a bracket and say I want raw inside this container, which is the calculation container. I'm going to have raw, which is equals to 0, comma. I'm also going to have column, which is also equals to 0. Then finally I'm going to have a column span, which is equals to 4. So this has to be for that. So I will come down here. I'm going to also comment again. So I'm going to comment here and said I'm creating a function to update the calculation entry field. So I will say hash function, let me use a capital letter, function to update the calculation entry field. So now here I'm going to say that div, which is def, div is going to be update underscore calculation. So that's going to be the div. Then inside a bracket I'm going to say this is for number. So this div is going to be for number. Then I use the dot. Then I said current. I'm creating another div. Current is equals to calculation, which is this, dot to get the value of update calculation. So I will use a bracket here and leave it null. So here I will say the calculation class dot set is going to have calculation dot set is going to be current plus str, which is a var from this, and then a bracket. So inside the bracket I'm going to have num, which is number. Then I'm going to comment again. This time I will say I'm creating a function to evaluate the calculation. So here I will say function to no, I'm creating a function to clear the calculation entry. So this function is to clear the calculation entry field. So now I'm going to say a div, and the div is going to be clear underscore then calculation, since calculation is the. Now I will close it with this, and then I will use a column to end this. So here I'm going to say calculation dot to set, then I'm going to close with this and use this. So that's what I'm going to do for that. Then I will hit enter. Next, let me scroll it down a little. So I'm going to comment here that this line of code I want to be imputing now is for function to evaluate the calculation. So here I will say hash function to evaluate the calculation. So next, inside it I'm going to also create a div, and I will say that this div for this function is to evaluate. The div is to evaluate underscore calculation. Then I'm going to be having a bracket to end it with a semicolon here. Then after that, I'm going to use a try. Then in the try, I'm going to say results, which I had already. Results, okay, is equals to eval. Then I use a bracket. Inside the bracket, I'm going to say calculation dot get, which I had already. Then I will close with this. Next, I'm going to have let me come down. I'm going to have calculation again. So calculation dot set is going to be result. So calculation dot set is going to be results. Then inside the results, I'm going to also have okay, let